Mental Liberation, an Iron March publication, November 4th, 2015, version 1. Total of 6 chapters, including the conclusion, starting with the preface. RFM, or Iron March Revolutionary Fascist Manuals, are a series of documents meant to help one to get actively involved in the fascist struggle against the system. The system is the dominant, purely mechanical societal structure which sprung forth from the modern worldview of lies and falsehoods, whereas the fascist worldview advocates the search for, discovery, and realization of the truth in societal matters, leading to the creation of the organic state. The world we know today is a product of self-serving lies or interests, as well as a purely material, rationalistic, intellectual mindset that is detached from a spiritual view of life, without which understanding material reality is impossible. It is a limited scope that focuses on the wrong things, placing value in man himself. The fascist worldview is one that promotes a broader field of vision that encompasses the spiritual reality and finds the truth as the core value, which thereafter reveals the inherent nature of the world at large, society and individuals, applying the truth to everything, including oneself, without egotism. To learn more about the fascist worldview, visit ironmarch.org. It's been shut down, where you can always find the entire RFM collection. We highly recommend that you visit the website and read A Squire's Trial, which I've already recorded, before you proceed further with this manual. To let you guys know, I downloaded this on gen.lib.rus.ec. You can find just about everything there. Great site. Chapter 1, Introduction. RFM-01 in the context of this series. You are currently reading Manual Number 1, Mental Liberation. The purpose of this series of manuals is to foremost help fascists to organize themselves. This organization can take on the form of either non-movement associations that help to bring together local fascists from various movements for the purpose of engaging in shared fascist lifestyle activities. We refer to these groups as IM chapters. That's Iron March chapters, designating a belonging to a global fascist fraternity, but not to a specific movement. Or it can serve as the basis for the foundation of a new movement engaged in our common struggle. Thus, the series is going to focus on organization, activities, movement activism, tactics, strategy, and everything else required for people to get started. Ideally, with these manuals in hand, even a lone fascist will figure out how to start something from scratch. However, we've come to realize that no kind of action would be possible in the first place if one does not first of all liberate themselves mentally from the expectations and constraints put upon them by the system at large and their immediate social circles. It is this mental block that keeps even seemingly large organizations in a rut, where they try to appease their enemies and thus do not engage in any meaningful action against them. There are also simple downsides of the human condition that keep people at home and out of the struggle, making them into little more than cheerleaders, if even that. They can read all about what course of action is the right one and never actually bother to make even the first step. Thus, the necessity of this first manual, which doesn't focus on the key subject matter of the series, but provides the invaluable and absolutely necessary gateway to any real and meaningful action. Unless you liberate yourself from the mentality that is the essence of our enemy's power, unless you lose all fear of merely psychological pressure that is put on all who exist in the system, you won't be able to ever engage in action that can truly hurt our enemies and would result in the fall of the system. First, liberate your mind, then you can liberate your race. Target audience. These manuals are written first of all for actual fascists and National Socialists, those who understand the fascist worldview and thus the full scope of what we are facing. You can learn about this worldview from materials available on ironmarch.org, the online HQ for the global fascist fraternity. And like I said, that's been shut down. However, we likewise offer these manuals to people who feel that there is something wrong with modern society but can't quite put their finger on it. They know the issues but don't know the full extent of the problem, and likewise may not be certain about what is the best course of action to take. Once they engage in the real struggle against the system, rather than half-hearted opposition to only certain aspects of the system and its inevitable logical progression, they will invariably be set on the path towards understanding our worldview and the real scope of the fight ahead. Goals of the Manual. As the title of the manual states, the goal is mental liberation. Liberation from psychological restraints that keep people from engaging in real action, that are essentially divided into external, system conditioning, and internal, base negative aspects of the human condition. We will firstly focus on removing the external restraints as they are the most difficult, seeing how even people who have overcome the internal restraints still find themselves inactive in the struggle. Moreover, there are lots of resources concerned with internal restraints in various degrees. People who are free of said restraints are more confident and capable, yet these same people still try to play by the system's rules. However, this confidence is necessary, so liberation from internal restraints is likewise included in this manual to help people build themselves up and become physically capable of carrying on in the struggle. In the end, the goal is the emergence of a revolutionary fascist with no fear of psychological or physical intimidation and opposition. Need to invert my colors quickly. Okay. It is also important to see the failure of various dead-end methods that many people cling to, thinking that if they just keep on pushing, they will get different results than before, when in reality these methods had no hope in the first place. For too long now have various groups, through the years and even decades, insisted on stepping on the same rake time and again, and have learned nothing from their own mistakes, nor from the mistakes of their predecessors. Once a person achieves mental liberation, they can likewise help liberate other people around them, provided these people have the potential to rise above the conditioning of the system. However, most people are lemmings and will flip-flop on any attempts to help them. So it is important that one is capable of realizing a lost cause when they see it and don't waste their time further. But to liberate others, one must first liberate themselves. That concludes this chapter. Chapter 1.